Fairy Tant, the Tantalising Stamper. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple shaker card using this lovely new bundle, Friendly Foliage. And if you haven't seen them already, these are the new packaging wallets that are stamps and dies come in. You might still get some DVD cases with some of them as sets fade away, but brand new sets are definitely coming in this. So you get the paper in like you would before, and then you get your stamps on the plastic sheets, but you don't get any markings inside. So what you might like to do, what I did was I just left the stamps on the original stiff, they don't want to stay on there anymore, plastic sheet, peeled off the soft piece, and then inked the whole lot, stamped it on a piece of card, and then I've laminated the card so that I know what I've got, and if anyone is missing, put them back on there. They just slide into the wallet, like so, and there you go, you've got it there. The same with the dies, which is similar to what you're probably used to. The dies have always come in packets. These are taller than our original packets, but and again there I've cut them all, stuck them on the back of the card, and then I've got these two here that you can see, and they just slot in. Of course those are where you might put the magnetic sheets, not in the stamp set, so they can go in there and again slide in the wallet. I just stick with a card that's there. Okay, so I've got those out ready because I want to use them, and I'm going to get the stamps out because I will be using them shortly. And now I'm going to tell you what I've got. So I have a pool party card base and a matte layer that's just a little bit smaller. I have a piece of scratch garden green, a piece of window sheet, some white card to stamp on. Then I have these two pieces. Now you might wonder, they're looking a bit messy on the back, but that's fine because I'm actually going to stamp on the other side and use them that way. And this one is 5.5 by 8 centimetres. This one is 4.3 by 7.3. But as I go along, you'll see that you can measure these to suit your needs. Okay, let's get started then. So I'm going to kick off by getting the main stamp, the large stamp, off of here, put it on my block, just put those all. The nice thing with this is that you know what you've got and what's where. So I've got my stamp, and then I've got granny apple green, and I've got garden green ink. I'm going to start with the garden green, cover the whole thing reasonably well. I'm not going to worry if there's the odd bit missing. And then this is to soften the garden green, but at the same time I'm sort of rocking and rolling a bit to just move it around and put different colours on, give it a little bit of texture. And then we're going to stamp that on our piece of card. And when you look through it, you think it's gone brown, but actually it turns out quite nice. Well, I think it does anyway. So there we go. I might actually do that one again. That one's a bit pale. But then having said that, I cut one out earlier. It just softens the garden green and makes it look a bit different, but we'll see what happens. So I've got that stamped. And I will close those up for a moment. And I'm just going to clean that stamp before I get it on everything else, on my chamois. Now, mine, as you can see, is a bit grotty at the minute. It needs a wash. And somebody gave me a tip to put it in the dishwasher rather than the washing machine, or soak it or squeeze it all out. So I perhaps give that a try very shortly. So I put it to one side, and we bring in our smaller piece that I'm going to flip over. And I'm actually going to use some blending brushes to add some colour. So I'm going to start with the garden green. Not the garden green, the granny apple green. Just a little bit of ink. I'm going to take off the excess and just gently bring it up, so that I've got sort of like green field or something behind. And if you want to be really clever, you could probably darken one bit here. Ooh. And then blend it out a little bit lighter up here. Maybe look at light hills, I don't know. What do you think? Perhaps not. So then I've got Pool Party. And again, I'm going to get some ink on my brush. Just gently take off the harshness of the ink. And I'm going to bring that one down. Gently. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of white. Perhaps leave a little bit. So sort of white here. And then a bit of white in the middle. Don't forget your image, because this is going to be a backdrop to our leaves. So just slowly bringing those all together. That's going to go there. And then if I bring in the one that I stamped earlier and cut, it will save a little bit of time. Just get all these little bits out. You can use your fingers, or you can use your pokey tool, or I find this quite useful on my pick a tool, take a tool, to get them out. And what my intention is to pop that so I've got like a scene behind it, and this is then way up in the foreground. So to stick, first of all, I'm going to make sure that's really dry, or let it dry a little bit so that my bits and pieces that I'm going to pop inside don't stick. So we'll leave it for a moment. So I'm going to move on with the piece that I cut out earlier. It will just make it easier for now. And what I'm going to do is stick the window sheet on the back of it. And doing that, I'm using glue dots. So I'm going to tear them like this. Put that one on there, because I'm then going to stick the window sheet onto the back of here so that you can see through it to see what I'm going to put inside as my shaker. So let's, oh, that one's come off already on my thumb, I can feel it. There we go. There's still one there. We can put that on there. We might have to fold some, I think, for the corners. I'd very gently lift these off. Let's get one in there. Don't want them too bulky. Oop. There we go. So we can pop it on the corner and then just peel it back gently so it's not hanging out over the edges, but it doesn't then build up too much bulk. So one there. No, that one, no, that one's folded in half. I'm going to give that one a miss. That one's not wanting to play very well either, but I think we'll manage. Let's see where else we could put some. Have one on there, there's a bit more card to play with. One on that top corner up there. Now these bits on the outside, you don't want any on there because they're just going to be free from the design. But we will have one on there to catch it in the middle, I think. So, try not to get fingerprints all over your acetate. We'll then pop that on the back, and that creates, that's going to be our window on top of here. Now I want to, what I'm actually going to put inside it is these lovely little bee trinkets. So it needs a bit of depth. So I'm going to use some adhesive strips, foam strips, just to give it a bit of depth, and it will also contain the bees. So I just need to go down the sides very carefully. And it just so happens that it's wide enough, which is brilliant. I love it when a plan comes together, don't you? So there again. Oops. Now you want to try and make sure that obviously it's on the white card, or on the back of, on the acetate, but on the back of the white card, so that it's not seen from the front. That bit might just fit in there now. Yeah, perfect. And then we just want a little bit more. Let's have a look. I think that'll do. If we're lucky. Yeah, just a little smidge too long. That's okay. And then this is then going to go on there. But first of all, I'm going to put my bees. And I'm going to put about, oh look, 5. So you want to turn them over so that they're the right way. But also, just in case any of them stick to the sides, I'm actually going to put a little smidge of glue on a couple so that I know exactly where they are. But what I will also do is just look and make sure that I glue them. Just a little bit of glue like that. Then I can use my putty now. I don't know about you, but I sometimes turn this a little bit harshly. That might just do it though. Yeah. So put that on, and then if we have a look for where we might pop another, I think over here somewhere. Just a little bit of glue. We'll have him flying back down. Then the others we're going to leave free inside like that. And then I've just thought, I wonder if he's a bit too far over. Hopefully not. So if we peel all of this off, I might just leave that bit there so it doesn't all stick and then go horribly wrong. Oop. I need to keep that flat and those on. So if I just line this all up, oop. There we go. And then if any of it is just sticking out, you can just push it in with your scissors and it'll give it a bit of a push. Just hold it in. So. Okay, then we've got our extra piece of card that I'm just going to give it an extra piece of framing by just adding the white card. And I may just trim that there so that that can stick on, and we'll do that with Tombow, a little bit of multi-purpose. Use these leaves to help try and get it central. So it's got an extra little frame and it'll just make it pop from the pool party base card that I'm going to adhere it to. So we'll leave that now to let it dry, but as you can see the shaker part is there with the bees buzzing about. And we'll put the lid on, get them out of the way. Then this piece I'm going to decorate by just adding some stamping. So I'm going to take one of these leaves from the set and add that to a block. grab my Pool Party ink. So this is going to be tone on tone. So it will be visible, but fairly subtle. I can just come in at the side here. Add these. We can decide where we want it. So maybe we'll have some more coming in here. There. And then I think we'll take it. Get a rough idea. Take these. And remember that you want it to be, so this will disappear underneath, which is fine. We can also have a little bit there. And I think we'll go with one, maybe two more there. And then this can come on. And we've got it looking really pretty. And it's just adding a little bit more to the scene for us. Now, before I do anything else with that, I'm going to grab my, let's have a look. Let's try it with this. I think we might see if this perforator, the edge, might just work for what I want, although it might not. So let's go with the scissors because I know they work. So I'm just going to, so I add a bit of definition, just use the blade of my scissors. Now you need to be really gentle and careful. You want to scrape it along the edge of the card and it just gives it a little bit of rustic texture. Come down the edges. Like so. And along the top. And I personally like it if you go in the same direction all the way around. It sort of seems to just work, but that might just be in my head. So you have to do what works for you. And obviously mind your fingers when you do this. Some bits you could just go back and do a little bit harsher. So you get that texture. And then I'm going to bend a corner. I'm going to roll it over a little bit. Now, some people can't cope with this sort of roughing it up, and that's fine. One of my ladies, she doesn't like tearing. So again, it's up to you. If you prefer it smooth, that's okay. And that will sit on there quite nicely, and it just gives it a bit more definition. So I'm going to stick that on, not too near the edge. I'm actually going to come in a little bit to make sure that the curl that I put on up here stays up. Just spread that glue around. There we go. And we'll pop that on there. Just give it a little gentle push. Spread the glue. And then we can add our feature piece again with the multi-purpose. You can hear the shakies. If only you could get them to hum as well, that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? And pop that up. There we go. Then the next thing I'm going to do is add a bow, and this ribbon is garden green and white. It's just called chevron ribbon. It comes in a little mini suite with these if you buy the whole thing, but you can obviously buy it on its own. And then I'm going to tie a bow. I'm going to start with it. I want to get this tail longer, so I'm actually going to go over the top and then pull this back up through that way, trying to keep that other one, this one down the bottom. Pull it out there. Try and pull it tight. But I want quite big loops and I want a tail. So let's have a look. I'm going to stick that on there, and that will allow me to trim this. Let's get it the right way. I'm going to just tail that a little bit more pointed. And again, this is where our glue dots will come in again. So if we put a couple on there. It doesn't want to stick. There's one. Two. And then we'll just try and tighten that off a little bit. Try and get those glue dots. Bring this to cover the glue dot. And again, with a tool or a tip of scissors, you can just push any excess glue dot down to hold the ribbon, push the ribbon onto it. There we go. So that's beginning to look quite nice, I think. And then another little touch will be some of the, I've forgotten their name. There's some festive, glittery, oh, I don't want to, sequins that I'll pop on in a minute. But my next thing is to use this scrap of garden green because I'm going to pop a sentiment on there. So I'm going to emboss it in white. So I use my embossing buddy just to take off any static fingerprints or whatever that might hold. They just might grab excess embossing powder. And I've got Sending Love on my Versamark ink pad. So let's just tap, 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 make sure we get it nice and inky. And we'll go up at the top here. And then my paper, I've got a piece of scratch paper here. Because I've lost my tray at the minute. I think I've left it in my classroom. So we'll just tip that on there. There we go. And I'm just going to stop the camera while I heat that. There we go. Sending Love. It's the perfect sentiment for just about, well, not every card, but lots of cards, isn't it? You know, you could use it to cover lots of occasions. So I really like that. And again, it's part of the set, as you saw. And I'm actually going to trim that a little bit finer. Don't want it to be too chunky. There we go. We can put some little mini pads on there. Ooh, I can only find black at the minute, but that's okay because it's not going to show because they're on the back. Ooh, they definitely want to stick to my finger today. My finger is obviously very attractive for anything gluey. Just pick those backs off. The ones that didn't come off on their own. And we can put that down there. And I've not cut that ever so straight, so I'm just going to put it on a bit of a wonk, like that, to disguise that I've slipped with the cutting. And then I'm going to put a few of these on, as I said. I will add the details. Go for a big one down here. We'll tuck him underneath. I've got another medium one left, yes. Let's get a medium one. It's always a good idea to put all odd numbers, but it's what suits you, really. Oh, that one's gone too far now. There we go. those away so I don't lose them. Clear out the rubbish. And there we go. So you can see the little bees. And these are cloud cover, I think. So they work quite nicely in there. They're a bit silvery, but a bit blue to go with the pool party. And this was another one that I made earlier. So I think it makes quite a fun card. And a little bit fiddly, but easy enough to do. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy our Totally Techniques blog hop. Thank you for joining me. If you don't have a demonstrator and would like to learn more, please contact me on zoetant@live.co.uk, or you can find my blog stampingscene.blogspot.com. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.